Hello, guys. Hope you are doing good. This is TJ, and you're listening to Beyond the Ring podcast. And this is my review of NXT. And this week's NXT, I really didn't enjoy actually. This I had a lot of expectation about that main event, that triple threat match, ever since it was announced last week. But the match, the booking they did, the whole show, I would say, the booking they did was bad, man. Sloppy booking, you could say, very lazy booking. I just want to say that because that's what it felt like. So we get to the first match there. The first match was the main match for the NXT Championship opportunity. Johnny Gargano versus Pete Dunne versus Kyle O'Reilly. I had my prediction as Kyle O'Reilly, but the match was very good. This match was going very good, but it turned it horrible by. I don't feel introducing Adam Cole in this during this match was a good point. If you know, the triple threat rules are no DQ, but what they did was really astonishing actually, what they did, because surprising as well. Triple threat is no DQ, and Adam Cole returns and he attacks all of the three. And at a point I felt like, again, they are they going to again do this Kyle O'Reilly stuff, or then when he attacked all of them, I thought about that he's going for the NXT championship again. I actually fed up seeing this again and again. You should you It's not about great matches. It's not about always great matches. I want new faces, and your brand represents the new face, and the development of new faces, new characters, and you bring support them into the main roster. That's what you do. So why the hell he's way uh, it's way time for Adam Cole to come into the main roster, but they are just holding him because he's the draw in NXT. That's why they are doing. So match itself, it was very good. It was going very good, but Adam Cole coming and just uh, just cutting all the pieces down, just thrashing the all thing that was going good, just was bad. After the match, if it was after the match, he comes out and debuts the winner and faces the winner. Actually, that would have been good. That would have been better, I would say, if that booking was done. And in eventually, if you can do like next week for that Adam Cole versus Kyle O'Reilly, if Kyle O'Reilly wins and Adam Cole versus Kyle O'Reilly again, I can understand that as well. But just ruining the match, that was not a good plan, and it was bad booking for me. The match was going very good. So, but nonetheless, this was the thing. Such an old booking they are doing over and over again. Uh, I don't understand what they are doing. Then we see William Regal is furious and is out, and he tries to control Adam Cole, but Adam Cole then goes, and out comes Amber Moon. Amber Moon is what the hell she's doing? It's the combustible kind of a scenario that is going on, situation that is going on, and you are introducing Amber Moon. Some of them like the show actually, because of how the unplanned stuff was going on, rather than a structured form of show. But I prefer kind of a structured show, because I think like this was a show which was unplanned, kind of no booking, nothing think about what to do. Same old stuff they are doing. And there was a proof as well, because after that we saw. So this Amber Moon come out, then Amber Moon calls out Raquel Gonzalez, and Raquel Gonzalez also had they also had the brawl. And then William Regal again comes out to control Raquel Gonzalez. And while William Regal was distracted, from the back comes Dakota Kai, and Dakota Kai attacks her. And William Regal then checks on her, and again that scenario played out in this thing. And commentators just say that such a chaotic situation. What the hell you are talking about? You have been hyping up this this triple threat match since last week, one of the biggest match, one of the big match, and you are just ruining it. No things, I mean, that was my thinking, but later on the show, I actually liked what they did. Actually, I would say that I would say what is good and what is bad. That's my honesty. So honest opinions actually. So the way they did turn around, it was good because then we will see that. So then we see a random match, and this was the point. This was the point where I felt like they didn't have any plan. They just thrown out whatever they can. Jake Atlas versus LA Knight. No story going on. Even if it was with Cameron Grimes, that would have been okay. Okay, the story is going on. Ted DiBiase story. But this match, I didn't. This was okay. I mean, match was going good, but the way they did that triple threat match after that, this show actually, I didn't have interest to watch the show actually after what they did. Such was my expectation for the first match. So, and at that point, I actually think about triple threat is no DQ. Why the hell they didn't continue the match? Actually, that would have played well. Actually, that if they wanted to do that further stuff they did, I would discuss about that. So that would have been justified as well if it was continued and any other something like. Pete Dunne takes up the victory. So that can be explained there because the interference of Adam Cole, and then you are making the multi-man match. That's the main event. So anyway, that's my thing. This match didn't have any story. It was just there, and then we saw Ted DiBiase actually coming out, and he's standing there just to look on LA Knight, and then we saw Cameron Grimes also coming out. He speaks with Ted DiBiase, and the finish of this match actually, Jake Atlas actually hit the cartwheel top rope DDT onto the mat to LA Knight, and that was the finish. And Jake Atlas got the upset victory there. So that's this match didn't have any story. I don't like the matches which didn't have any story or any promo or something. They haven't done anything. They just thrown away that match. I mean, what was that? I don't know. And it was not like Ellen had made the challenge. He was already in the ring. So what the hell is doing? I don't know, man. So and then we saw the brawl between Austin Theory and Oli Norton over their anger that each other would have picked up the victory. Their manager, not the manager, their clients actually, Adam Cole's interference. Maybe another match next week. I thought about like the Austin Theory versus Oni Lorcan. So such a just to build up, just to have that match, just to fill up the card next week. That would be the match. I think so. They didn't confirm. I think so. They would be confirming. They would be confirming. I think so. And DBSC is then asked by Mackenzie Mitchell who would be the next to carry the legacy of DBSC. In the midway, we saw Adam Cole going onto the stage, and we go to the commercials. Then, so that was cut down. And next we saw the announcement that Poppy, the musician, is coming next week, and they are why the hell they are bringing up musician every now and then. I don't know what's the special show next week. I don't know if they are bringing up in the pay-per-view, that would have been considered okay. But okay, good stuff, just to lure some music fans, just to have some fans to watch the show. That's what they're doing. And then we NXT, this show actually felt like some type of resemblance of the main roster, because that's what it felt. Uh, that's what I felt, because the way they booked the show was very bad. They didn't have any plans, but they actually turned around in 30 to 40 minutes. But it's not like you can it would be blown off like blow off matches or something. But it was good, I would say. Adam Cole comes out, then we are of the commercials, and Adam Cole says that he's the greatest champion and no one has ever been in that position, and he wants the title again. And he, for God's sake, I mean, this guy had so many opportunities, so many lose numerous times by numerous superstars. I didn't have any problem if we had if we didn't if we had the match and face that the last man standing in the ring, like I said in the first, like if Kyle O'Reilly wins a triple threat and then Adam Cole comes out, that would have been good scenario. And next week making that again, that would have been a pretty okay booking, good booking, I would say. But ruining the triple threat match, that's not the way, I think so. So but match. The promo itself, Adam Cole and Karrion Kross comes out. Adam Cole just rips Karrion Kross out of in the promo, and he just couldn't say anything. And Adam Cole's promo, he's a guy, man. He's good in wrestling, and they know that he's the top guy in NXT, and no one has ever topped him. And that's a fact, I would say. Adam Cole is good in promo, good in wrestling, and good in that character, heel or face. People loves him. So that's the kind of people feels about Adam Cole. So that's why they are not taking him to the main roster, and they know that he would be ruined in the main roster because he is not the Vince kind of big guy. So that's there, and I'm okay with him staying in NXT, but don't put him over and over in the NXT Championship picture. Give him some other rivalries as well. Enter him to the North American Championship picture as well. I mean, breaking up the Undisputed Era, I would say it's success. I would say it's not. They didn't drop the ball. Undisputed have been so many years they have been seeing. So breaking up, I don't think so. They dropped the ball, but we saw Kyle O'Reilly and Kyle O'Reilly and Bobby Fish singles matches, which is good. And I'm actually great to see their singles push as well. So it's great to see. So that's my thought on that. And yeah, Adam Cole's promo was very good, and he says that he wants that NXT Championship again. And Karen Cross just overconfidently told William Regal that I want all of them, like Kyle O'Reilly, Pete Dunne, Johnny Gargano, and Adam Cole, and of course Karrion Cross. So Finn Balor is out. So I don't know Finn Balor where he is. Okay, he's done his thing. I mean, I think so. He'll be debuting in main roster or something. I think so. He's not here. So yeah. So I be not be shocked like they would be introducing another like Finn Balor next week for making it Fatal 6 Way or something. They are who they would be doing. We don't know what they will do because uh, they are actually mad sometimes actually, and that's what this show reflected. So that's my view. So it was a good promo, but the Fatal 5-way match, I'm excited for that. But I can't find any explanation for what they did into that for what they did that triple threat match. Pure sloppy and lazy booking, I would say. That's what it was. The two matches, the first match, the triple threat match, they ruined it, and the second match as well. And next we saw Kushida's open challenge for NXT Cruiserweight Championship, and we're gonna see. And before that we saw Xylis embarrassed of how Martinez shook her hand actually in May Young Classic. So that's the rivalry they are going on. So good to see Xylee coming back and having the rivalry with Mercedes Martinez. They both have that angry and a fiery style of wrestling. So it would be good and good to see that rivalry going on. And that match is confirmed that in your house pay per view, NXT Takeover in your house pay per view. And then we got to the uh, match, third match, Kushida versus, and this new guy is Carmelo Hayes, and Carmelo Hayes is new guy. But the his wrestling was good. I watched this whole show with a feeling of what they did to that match, man, and that's what my feeling in this point as well. So Carmelo had his good display; he was good. Kushida tried to focus on the shoulders, but he was escaped of that. Carmelo's speed advantage that he had. Match had nice drama as well, and some quick agility maneuvers, aerial maneuvers, and Carmelo actually at a point escaped the first time attempt of the hoverboard lock, but second time Kushida got it with a springboard attempt by Carmelo to a hard punch that his patented punch into a kick to the hand, and hoverboard locks in, and he taps out. Carmelo taps out, not Carmela. Carmelo taps out. And thought this was a good match. Nice. This was a point that the show was beginning to be good. I would say this was a nice beginning, nice display for Carmelo. Uh, new superstars we are seeing. So it's good, and a better match after the sloppy booking they had until this point. So next we saw hyped up promo of MSK's title defense, which is gonna be this week. This is gonna be in the main event actually, and then we saw Frankie Monet reading her reviews on her debut that she did last week, just there. And then the fourth match we got Zoe Starks and Zeta Remir. So I think they are going with these two women as a tag team, and they are good. They are very good. The story actually had played out between them when Tony Storm actually attacked Zeta Remir. So that's what kind of started their relationship, and they are the tag team now, and they are facing Candice LeRae and Indy Hartwell. And I can't say about that. Candice LeRae and Indy Hartwell are the best tag team champions that they actually decided upon, because the champions worked very well in this match by not giving the faces. I mean, Zoe Starks and Zayda Remir not getting the tag, and Zayda Remir sold a lot, and it was good to see her babyface reaction. And Indy wrestled so well. They have great cohesion, and they are very doing very good after Ember Moon and Shotzi Blackheart's tag title reign. And NXT had done a good decision to have that title on them. So they are very good. And finish in the finish uh, we saw Starks goes over the top rope with the face hitting on the apron, and Candice hit with a Vic stepsister with a pretty savage elbow, kind of a tribute to Randy Savage, that springboard elbow drop. And Wicked Savage that they are calling it, and gets the win. Good match, I would say, well worked match, and I like the cohesion and the story of this small story that it had. Psychology was that played out was good. And next we saw very good promo by Martinez, and her promo is very good. And I mean, you could see all the feelings on her, and she didn't stumble upon any point. And again, a promo I may be not liking, something that broad should be happening. So I'm excited to see this match, Xylee versus Mercedes Martinez. They do have that same style, so I think so that would be good. And next we got NXT Takeover in Your House match confirmed, Cameron Grimes versus LA Knight. So lots of matches confirmed this week, and they're just throwing off the matches just about. And I don't say that this Cameron Grimes versus LA Knight didn't have any story, but the card actually almost took the shape, because we have fatal 5-way match confirmed. We have the Cameron Grimes versus LA Knight, and we have the Xylee versus Martinez match as well. So women's championship match also we saw that Ember Moon is challenging. Ember Moon has challenged actually Dakota Kai next week for the match, and after that the pay-per-view is coming in your house. So that would be she said that Ember Moon is challenging Raquel Gonzalez for the NXT Women's Championship. It would be a good match. If you see, there's not any kind of a build-up, but the tag team situation that they had, that can be capitalized on, and that would be good, I would say. So then we saw confirmed NXT Championship Fatal 5-way match. Now that it's confirmed, I am kind of multiple times in the show actually. My early prediction is Cross retaining the championship, or Kyle O'Reilly winning the championship. And I would say that Cross losing the championship would not hurt him, because there's five top guys in this match, and you losing this match would be very important point, kind of obvious point, I would say, because of this five guys. So a title change, I hope so, 90% or something. 90, I don't think so. Karrion Cross, he's a baby face, not a heel, so he may be retaining don't he will not be retaining the championship. I mean, I don't have any problem in him going in. He's already over in the NXT. He had his good character work, had his good reign. He defeated Finn Balor twice. He's in the stock, but I don't know how if there isn't a plan plan for him if he goes to the main roster, because WWE drops them to the lower mid card, and they just get released after some years or some months or something. Just like why the hell they released Braun Strowman, I don't know. I'm still surprised upon, I'm still shocked upon what they did with Braun Strowman and Aleister Black. Man, I had so expectation about him. He was my favorite wrestler in SmackDown, and after him coming back, his story was going good. They had that program actually planned out with Biggie, but what the hell they did, I don't know. What the hell they are doing with this money by this budget cut? Would they be getting this kind of superstars like Braun Strowman? They build him like 6 to 7 years, and the Aleister Black character as well. I mean, I don't know what they're doing. Do they have that character in NXT? Braun Strowman type of big guy? I don't know. Are you saying like that guy? I don't know. I don't remember his name actually. That Drake Maverick bodyguard. Are you expecting? Are you expecting him to be the Braun Strowman again? I don't know, man. What they are thinking. So that was it. I don't think so. Killian Dane would be the next Braun Strowman or something. Um, I don't know, man, what they are doing. So, but the Fatal Five Way match would be a great match. I think so. I had that thinking that after over and over that thing, they advertised it. It would be a good match. It would be well laid out match. Several spots would be there. I am excited to see that match. So, but the way they did ruin the triple threat match, that's not gonna get off my mind, because that was not good. Uh, that was not good. So next we saw main event, and this was MSK, as we saw. Uh, Last week announced that MSK would be defending their NXT Tag Team Championship against Legado del Fantasma. And next, then we saw a video package of Diamond Mine, and this time some extra as well. They are saying that opening extra add-on as well. They are saying opening soon. So I hope new contender for the NXT Championship or NXT Women's Championship, because post this Fatal Five match, I don't want any one of these five guys be going for the NXT Championship. I want new guys. You could have Isaiah So Scott, or you can have Santos Escobar as well, and you can have, yeah, you can have the Diamond Mine if they are debuting. I don't know if it's a faction or something. I hope so. It's a faction, because a kind of MMA style thing. So. Don't know what's that. I hope so. Maybe new contender for the NXT Championship. I hope so. That would be happening, or NXT Women's Championship. And next, then we saw Ember Moon is gonna take on Dakota next week. And then I actually said that. Then in your house take where she's facing Raquel Gonzalez. They did confirm that Dakota Kai match, but they didn't confirm any her match in your house match with Raquel Gonzalez. I think so. It would be announced in this week or next week show. So that's a championship match, and it would be good. Ember Moon getting the opportunity, because when she debuted, she had that opportunity, and then she had the tag team going on with Shotzi Blackheart, and ever since then she didn't have that opportunity. So I'm glad to see her taking the opportunity and having that opportunity. Shotzi Blackheart is gone; she's not seen anywhere. Uh, Maybe Ember Moon winning. Kind of can play it out like Dakota Kai, kind of having a distraction uh, for the for Ember Moon, but it distracts Raquel Gonzalez, and Raquel Gonzalez losing the championship and having that Raquel Gonzalez Dakota Kai rivalry. That would be great. Dakota becoming face and Raquel Gonzalez turning heel, a super heel. That would be good. And Ember Moon versus Shotzi Blackheart doing their own thing in NXT Women's Championship, and that plan is good. I mean, if you think about that storyline, would be good. So that's my quick booking that I thought. There's several angles you can play it out. You can also have Tony Storm as well. So Tony Storm's NXT Championship opportunity as well. After she defeated Zoe Starks, she doing, but uh, like. every week Ted DiBiase is just coming, it's just degrading his value. I don't know what they are doing, and I'm not interested in this now. I just wanted to get LA Knight over. And LA Knight is a very good mouthpiece, I would say. He's a very good mouthpiece. He can speak well, and he cuts a promo at an instinct basis, at a instant basis. Actually, he's a it's a once in a life talent. Actually, he's very good talent, and he would be the future NXT championship champion. Actually, I said that. So LA Knight as well, he would be also be good for next challenger for the NXT championship. Very good challenger, I would say. So he cuts a promo well, he wrestles well, he plays his character well. So that's he checks all the right boxes. So I think so that would not be kind of a shocking thing if LA Knight challenges the new winner of the Fatal Five match after the In Your House pay-per-view. So the tag team match itself, they said that WWE is celebrating 50 years of tag team since the inception of the very first tag team champions, WWE tag team champions, and tag team offenses were great in this match. The cohesion was there, and the smoothness was very good in this match. GYB gets into the ramp at the point of the match. The destruction and the shenanigans, that kind of degraded the match quality, I would say. This was not at the level not at the level of the triple threat match they had, Breezango MSK versus LTP. But it was a good TV main event, I would say. But we see Champa and Thatcher, they have their own storyline going on. Attacks them, Thatcher gouging the eyes of Drake, and they are gone back. And I am glad that they didn't ruin this match. And Escobar then plays his plays his face reaction and his reaction. He's just sitting there, but I actually wanted to tell the good things, good and bad things. Bad, I just said in this show because. The way the Santos Escobar has been improving in last 1 year in the pandemic era, he's so good, and he's so much good in this character, and he's so much given that prestige to the NXT Cruiserweight Championship that we ever didn't have. And I think so that storyline with Bronson Reed for the North American Championship would also be good. He's a very good guy. He's a very good talent, and I hope so he don't go main roster for 1 year or so. Let him be in, if any interesting situation is there, I mean, is for the development, I mean, it's good. I would be changing my opinion, but right now he's doing the great work in NXT, and he's one of the top guys in NXT, I would say. He's the longest reigning cruiserweight champion. Joaquin Wild and Raul Mendoza, his tag team partners, his friends are very good, and they wrestles as well very good. We saw pace of the match getting kind of slow after that commercial, after the last commercial actually, and Wesley get the DDT, or then for trying actually tried. Okay, Wild actually tried a move, but Wesley get the DDT and then tag to Caster, and and then we saw Mendoza getting a tag to Wild, and some aerial offense and strikes by Carter, and stands and reverses the moonsault, stands and reverses the moonsault, and then we saw they tear the they they teased many places where they actually felt like maybe title change or something. But I didn't feel like 100% felt like it would be a title change, but there was something that they actually teased. But multiple clothesline, then we saw Brainbuster as well by uh, Wesley actually, and then we saw multiple clothesline by Mendoza and Wild, and a top rope Hurricane Run to the power bomb by Mendoza, and Wesley onto outside falls down, and we saw then Escobar drives him to the steel steps while he was falls down to the near of Escobar while he was sitting near commentary table, and Escobar just picks him up and drives him to the steel steps, and ref doesn't see it actually, and then we saw Enziguri with the Russian leg sweep finish tried by LDP, but Wesley kicked out, and so Santos Escobar is furious after they didn't get the win, and out of nowhere, uh, Bronson Reed just crushes him into that plexiglass, and that was good, and that was good angle that they played out. MSK with a assisted takedown, that finisher, and MSK retains the NXT Tag Team Championship. This is a good match, but the last thing that they played out was Goose Bronson Reed, but there was some GYV stuff, and that actually degraded, and there was a dead air as well in this match. Some slow down in the pace, so that actually was not very good. But the cohesiveness of this match, about the tag teams, very good, very good. And I actually said that before as well. NXT tag teams are very good, given that scenario at that time, they would be doing very good. And this match was not good like triple threat tag team championship, but a good main event with somewhat a drag down interference and end of out of focus from the match, so for some time. Nonetheless, a good tag team championship main event, I would say. And next match, next post match, we saw champions faces in the ring, facing the LDP, and Bronson Reed was also there, and Bronson Reed is going to face Santos Escobar for the NXT North American Championship, and that would be a very good match. I'm excited to see that as well. So, show thoughts, I would say this show actually saved from after that Kushida Cruiserweight Championship match. After that, this show was kind of good. They totally actually kind of forgotten what happened in the first match. That's why. So, but I will not forget altogether what they did actually, but they actually completed it well, because now we know the clearer picture. If they didn't have any clearer picture, that would have been pissed off this show. I mean, I would have been given very bad show, but they did clear it, that they are going with fatal five-way situation, so it would be good match. But the angle how they played out at that's what I didn't liked it. So it was a lazy booking after that as well, that LA Knight match. So show thoughts, this was a pretty good show, I would say. I can say I can't forget the fact what they did with the triple threat time match, a sloppy and lazy booking for straight 45 minutes of show, I would say. And last half an hour, 40 minutes of show was very good. That actually changed it. And women's tag team championship, to be precise, NXT tag team championship match, and the Kushida versus Carmelo match was good. And these three matches were good. And but the bad booking for the NXT championship, didn't know how they come to this fatal five way. I mean, didn't know. I mean. This is a plan that they made in a hurry, I think so, because they didn't have any plan what to do or something. So that's why they did this fatal five way, and it would be a big money match kind of something, like all the superstar, all the top NXT talents going at it for the NXT championship. So that's what they're thinking. um, so I mean, this was that was my feeling for that. So some people liked it. I saw that some reviews that it was kind of an unorthodox, unplanned show, not kind of structured show. But I'm kind of a structured guy. I like structured guy. I don't move away from the opinions that I like. So I like structuredness in the show. So we know that it's a pre-planned or something, but we enjoy the wrestling. We are wrestling fans, so that's it. You don't have to be like we don't get that kayfabe thing anymore. Ever since kind of the end, we can say many superstars who broke the kayfabe. So that's my thinking. But I didn't like that. What they did with that triple threat match. So overall, the show for me was pretty good, not bad. They confirmed the pay-per-view card in a hurry, which is because they don't have much time for now. They have only 1 week to build it up. And I think Hell in a Cell also is gonna happen like that, because the most of the matches cards are not built up. So I think not set up actually. So even though they they gets time, they have weeks and weeks of time, they just do the rematches, and they just play it out in a hurry for the booking to be made in the pay-per-view. Any pay-per-view, WWE is doing that. So but unsurprisingly, they are just kind of hanging over the branches, kind of somewhat. They produce some good matches, some very good match, sometimes like this, a very bad show, kind of in the first 30 minutes. So sloppy booking. So I can't take away the what they did actually to the show. This would have been a very great show, but way they did, I didn't like that what they did in the start. But the show actually, okay, a good show, I would say. Good matches were there. Pretty good show would be my rating for this show, NXT show. So this was my review for NXT show. Hope you liked it, my review, and please do tell your thoughts as well on this NXT show. And how about your thoughts about the Fatal Five situation that's going on? And are you excited about the how in your house pay per view that's coming in a 1 week's time on in a 1 week's time from Sunday. So tell your thoughts on the show. Which match did you like this in the show? What are your thoughts going forward, the booking and all? Whatever you can say about any show, you can speak about in the comment section below. And before going, please like this video, share this video, and subscribe to my channel for more wrestling content like this. And I will see you guys in the next one. Be safe, stay energetic, peace.